All right, family. All right. And all right. Good morning to everybody. December the 26th, 2025. Family, we hope that y'all had a good, and again, as we normally say, a powerful and impactful Christmas, right? Spotify fam one time, what it do, right? Thank y'all for your support throughout the year. We're going to end the year off with a bang. That's what we like to do. They're going to start it off with a bang in a bunch of days here with fireworks and all that kind of stuff. Again, excuse me. We recognize quite clearly on this podcast, again, we're talking a different view, right? When you're talking about the calendar, matter of fact, before we even get there, welcome in us family, right? A different view family who believe in, who love and love after, who hunger and thirst, search and seek for that which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Today's topic, we're going to title it, Don't Throw the Baby Out with the Bathwater, family. My, oh my, oh my, oh my. I have yet to actually make that a topic on the podcast here. We're not going to keep you long. This is going to be centered around, we have done these, and matter of fact, before we get started, in clear fashion, I did not mute the sound. So let's just do that real quick before we continue to get disturbed, right? This idea of not throwing out the baby with the bathwater is going to be wrapped around the 12 universal laws, as I like to call it, coming from the book, The 12 Laws, or 12 Laws of the Universe, excuse me. There's no the there. It's just 12 Laws of the Universe. We may leave, the link for it in the description. Again, we are saying that we're going to write it. We're going to type it, not write it. We're going to type it in the description so people have it. Again, the 12 Laws of the Universe. There's certain things that I've heard. And again, we use the comments, family. We're a family that can speak with each other, correct? Right. So again, let's use the comments and show the planet, show the world that we can speak without being disrespectful, as probably happened yesterday at some people's Christmas parties and Christmas get-togethers and all that kind of thing, just like during Thanksgiving, because this is the sickness that is in people, which is that does not accept anything else but what they believe to be true. Excuse me. We know, family, that's not the case. This world is big. This planet is huge. I'm sure my New York accent came out there when I said huge, but we'll just say it again. Huge. Okay. And because we sit in the seat of the scornful, as we have said on this podcast multiple times, we believe that verse in the Psalms to be true. Right? And you're blessed when you do not discredit and mock and make fun of, family. There's a penalty we pay for doing that. Okay? There's certain images here that, we shouldn't be okay with certain images. If I could take the time to talk on this before we get into some of these laws, just for time's sake, we may split it up. I don't want to rush through it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see the feel of it, how it goes through this. And if we have to come back, do a part 2, we'll do a part 2, and we'll just send out part 1 on the back end. But you're gonna get some content here in the last couple of weeks, families, right? So lock in. It's gonna be between TikTok and YouTube. So for those who don't know, right, on the Spotify crew here, right, which when we get to the end of the year, we got to have a conversation about some things with Spotify. For as much as I have an issue with TikTok on how they limit what you say, because again, we're okay, sure, and it's funny now that I've had a couple lives on TikTok. And again, to the brown, so we don't reference in the names by which Massa has given us, because there are distinctions that weren't there at one point historically, and then all of a sudden now they're here and we call each other them. For everybody trying to find an originality, what's more original, family, than not calling yourself what Massa calls you? So again, when you look at the books from the explorers, when they looked at the Californian Indians, we've had conversations on this podcast about, They said they were dark mahogany to near black. Not black, near black. The same kind of thing they have talked about over in the Congo and in other places on this planet. They name us close to, but not actually the color, because it's not us. So what we do over here is say dark, because you got varying darks, right? There's like a dark cherry color, right? Talk to me about wood one time, family, right? Wood has varying shades. So do we. I mean, which would only make sense because we're made in the likeness of. So even if we wanted to do this kind of thing, like, so-called white folks or the Johnny come latelys, family, we don't, again, I get it. I understand where folks are coming from with this. But as long as, the human features are still there, then there's a different criteria for judgment there at that point. And you begin to recognize people are just doing this because they're sick. Not because of anything else other than they're sick. But don't worry. Even with those who have introduced sickness in the camp, there's still something that the natives of that land have to do to bring healing. Of course, we know it's a separation from these fools, family. That's without question. But you got to recognize it's not all of them. Just like it's not all of us who are in these inner cities playing bang bang shoot 'em up. Thank God for Spotify, man, because I can speak. I don't have to. When you say kill, you don't have to say unalive on Spotify. It's kill. It's death. This is sick how we use words, but also typical of Massa, because anywhere they've gone, they mess with how the natives there spoke their language. It don't matter. The islands, Central America, South America, North America. That's the game always. Australia, India, Asia. That's always the South Pacific, Hawaii. It does not matter. I saw a pretty cool thing on TikTok where you do the 12 days of Christmas. I was going to name this the 12 days of Christmas, but there's been so much talk here of just throwing out the baby with the bathwater, as the phrase goes. That's why we're going to go with that. That's why we're going to go with that phrase. But 12 days, because we were going to go with the 12 universal laws is like the 12 days of Christmas, right? And I probably could have did that on TikTok, but I could have did that on TikTok, but I meant Spotify. I could have did it on Spotify, but we just didn't go that route, right? Again, if y'all have ideas for the program, shout them out. Different things that we can talk about. There's always information to find out to talk about. There's always something that I know or I don't know, just like you, that we can either learn and talk about or share from what we know, right? So, those who are fans of the podcast, feel free. Again, we started, 2023? We're just rolling along, family, right? The plane's off the ground. We flying now, certain altitude. We're going to go higher and higher because this is about telling the truth. And on this podcast, we're about learning and telling the truth. Family, when we speak on, again, if Massa operates in deception, if the devil, as they say, and we know devil means adversary, so we're not just looking to, again, this is as a Christian speaking, we're not just looking to the one under the ground, we're looking at the one right in front of us, who is adversarial to that which is life and godliness, which is why Christians got a problem. They got a problem giving. They rejected the edict that is in Acts to give when no one lacks. The call of the church, no different than the call of humanity in Genesis, telling us to dress and keep this planet. And don't you know you dress and keep this planet by dressing and keeping ourselves? And you can clearly see the breakdown. If you care about love and love your brother and sister, you're not going to put out an image that you're just nothing but buffoons, coons, and maroons everywhere, right? We say morons, another way of, morons. You wouldn't do that. You would show and prove where they're scientists, beauty pageant winners, confident and successful construction workers, builders, architects, family makers. Again, which is why we can clearly say on this podcast, family, devil is a liar. Not just the one under the ground. We're talking about who you can see, your adversary in front of you, seeking to devour or consume. That's another good word, which we did a whole lot of this holiday season. Hopefully we did not go into debt, family, because that's not the point of it. Oh, no man, nothing but to love them. No human. Oh, everybody, nothing but love, family. That's why we can shout out Bob Marley all day when you say one love. This is the balance between the things. So let's go, right? We've been on the exposition here for about 10 minutes. Let's get into the meat of the topic so we can go on. 12 Laws of the Universe by Manhardeep Singh. Okay, this is just an overview. Again, if y'all want me to go into a breakdown here on TikTok, we can do it. Or we can go to, or you can, check out the different ones that I've done. I have them posted under my page, KJ's Clock, at KJ's Clock on TikTok. Again, you can find the podcast on YouTube at A Different View 80. We have seen some people subscribe. We've seen a bunch of views as of late. Thank you, family, for your support, for checking us out. Right? If it's your cup of tea, we get it. If it's not, we get it. We still tell the truth anyway. Right? Again, family, for those of us who get tired of not being put on, right? And you got, you got a whole lot of, Dave Chappelle had a whole lot to say on his last Netflix special. I don't know if y'all have checked it out, but he got another one out. All right. Again, family, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We are not saying that Israel isn't a holy nation, okay? And we're talking about as Christians, as people groups. We're not saying there isn't some holiness that you can bring away from this thing, but family, where it's wrong, you got to call it out. There's no reason for the unprovoked attack on our Palestinian brothers and sisters, family. That's just what it is. That's what it's been. And it's not because all of them are wrong. We're not going to say that certain attacks aren't wrong, family, but you got to call out what it is, which is the problem people have with Massa. It's why there is a sympathy, unfortunately, embedded in the mind of people. See, again, right? You watch Lord of the Rings. This ring is made. Yeah, I know, right? Another geeky Negro. I don't know what to tell y'all. You're gonna have to get used to it. There's no reason that Squid Kid, right? 4 ones, sis, shout you out one time as you rest in peace. There is no reason that we should be causing hate, wrath, a loathing amongst our youth, amongst our elders, by which they then grow up with a dysfunction internally in their heart, mind, and psyche, because you reject them off of some weird image Massa gave you that only Negroes can act this way, or only so-called white folks can act this way, Asians can only act this way, our Latin brothers and sisters, no matter where they be on the planet, can only act this way. Island folk can, when we say island, we're talking our Jamaican brothers and sisters. Shout out, man, I just learned this one as of today. Unfortunately, my apologies, family, right? Because your boy ought to be up on game, right? And we can clearly say this and talk about this brother in Jamaica as this way because it's necessary. The same way we talk about brother Nathaniel Turner, Pastor Nathaniel Turner, right? Because we got a lot of preachers. And this is going to tie into the next conversation we have on TikTok called the Year of the Christian. Family, y'all wait for it. Y'all wait on it because we're going to speak specifically on the subjects that have happened in this year. While Massa, as they always do, whether it's Christmas or whatever it is good at using the Christian image to support their sickness across the world, family. At the end of the day, there are certain things just in the Christian camp, the same as every other camp, where we got to clean up some mess, family. There's some things here that are wrong. And we're going to talk about them. We've talked about them before, but we're going to speak specifically on different instances that have happened this year. And we're going to go from there. So to tie off this thought, because this was wild, I found this one out. And shout out the nation, right? The island of Jamaica one time. Again, we're going to get to the point of adding some noises in and little things just to get people off of just hearing your boy or just hearing background music. We're gonna see how we do, right? We're gonna see how it goes. Samuel Sharp. Who know about Samuel Sharp? Baptist preacher. Led what was called the Christmas Rebellion back in the 1830s. Anybody know about Samuel Sharp? Unfortunately, right? And check this out. Check what won't happen in the United States is where you put a revolutionary leader on your money. We got George Washington, we got Mr. Lincoln, we got, Jefferson, all these slave loving folk. No, we're good on the Abraham Lincoln farce now, family. Again, those things were done to keep the Union together. Right? Let's not play that. You wanted to ship us out of here. Okay? So let's stop doing this like he was doing something holy here. No different than Pontius Pilate wiping his, you're trying to wash his hands off after, because Easter's coming, a couple months away. It ain't that far, right? Easter's coming. Not just winter, so is Easter, right? Spring is coming. When the new year actually starts. You're going to give us December, which means 10, and we're going to look at that thing like nobody is going to know that. Gregorian and Julian calendars, what mess. Anyway, see, again, people just messing with time like we're going to do in a couple of months when it comes to skipping ahead, springing ahead. What is springing ahead? The earth pattern ain't changed. Man, we fall for a lot of mess, man. No, but this Baptist preacher here, Samuel Sharp. The Christmas Rebellion in the 1830s. Y'all look it up. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Family, unfortunately, we go in there. He's heating up, family. He's heating up, okay? Family, I'm trying to figure out for my Christian brothers and sisters, right? And we can save this, and we will probably reiterate this come this little maybe partially, year end type of thing here, dealing with the year of the Christian. But what do we really believe that Isaiah 61 is talking about, y'all? Why are there so many preachers? Nathaniel Turner, there's a lot of preachers, right, from back then in the 1800s, led revolutions, family. We're trying to figure out here what's in the mind of people. Why is everything spiritual with y'all? The Bible itself talks over and over while we keep trying to, and this is not a knock on deconstruction. I'm one here who believes in it. You got to deconstruct in order to rebuild. See, again, it's not just deconstructing just to deconstruct. It's to rebuild. And in this case, as far as to rebuild the way, because I just don't say Christianity, different names that I give it because again, from things you find in scripture, they get away from this solely Christian title, and it's more of a follower, a disciple. The disciples, we could call ourselves disciples, right? DOC in the building, right? Disciples of Christ. Because that don't change from then till anyway. There's a lot of different groups out there, right? Under this kind of Christian title and banner, we get it. Even when you're looking at the Abrahamic household of faith. Excuse me, been having issues with the voice this morning. My apologies. When you look at that, understand that there is a multitude, not just the three, a multitude of spinoffs. When it comes to, I understand people want to go with we the OGs. Yeah, I get it. Now, that is when it comes to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Then we kick them out completely. But I digress. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. When you study the word meek, right, as a verb that deals with submission. Now, don't worry. Although our male brothers here, we're out here talking this, the woman has to submit. Family, your Bible lets you know that we're supposed to submit one to another. So if you talk it in context, and you have to have that conversation. But right about that point, when someone is broken inside, that's where we missed it. We walk right past that. We don't want to hear none of that. We just want to know how about that woman can get on her knees and do it. Never mind. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. Family, don't you know we have people around us who are brokenhearted? You look in the hood, family, they're brokenhearted. Ain't nobody taking guns, shooting themselves in the hood. You getting in gun, all this mess we see. People arguing out in the street now. Don't you know they're brokenhearted? When that energy that comes like that, the mischief maker is another one of these terms that's used, right? With our brothers and sisters, with our black brothers and sisters, the mischief maker. You gotta let some of this go. We're here to buy, again, this energy, anointed, poured on, right? Let's not bring it spooky. You've been given gifts. Multiple stories in the Bible that talk about talents or gifts. Specifically in the Gospels. Not the only place. Right? Bind up the brokenhearted. What would that look like, family? I digress. Proclaim liberty to the captives. Anybody in the house today captive under master system? No, I know, right? They tell you drapetomania. See, we suffer from drapetomania, as a matter of fact, family, right? Look up the term. So again, my apologies, because I know we're like, excuse me, 20 minutes in. Drapetomania. By accident, I typed a U there. There's no U. What is drapetomania? Made by, and we just finished talking about Samuel Sharp. Here's another one in the 1850s over here in North America. Dr. Samuel A. Cartwright, claiming that enslaved black folks had a mental illness, causing them to run away from slavery, viewing escape as a symptom of madness, rather than a rational response to bondage. Wait, but your Bible says that the Lord has anointed me to proclaim liberty to the captives. We'll let Snoopy play out here for a second. Let your boy calm down. Family, queer. Just a clear question to you. We're definitely doing two parts today. What would liberty to the captive look like? That you got folks in the Christian camp stuck on this kind of spiritual freedom? Huh? you know. Suffering from drapetomania, family. The man came out with it. He came out with it. And in it, he came out with some mess. He came and he showed his hand, family. That's how greed works. Right? This is just the energies that are down here, okay? Just to back up this idea of proclaiming liberty to the captive. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, right? Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, as we have received mercy. We have missed some things. We've received mercy, family. Again, as it's said in the New Testament, for the grace of God, there go I. What did we miss? You think this is just me? This is just you? Yet we talk about a script as far as the base word of scriptures go. We talk about William Shakespeare saying that all the world's a stage, family, and that the people are playing their part, yet we miss a lot of the truth here. Do you think we've received mercy, family? Look at the mess we do to each other. Men beating women. Women in response beating men. Kids being disorderly to their children. Never mind. I'll leave that alone. Because we got young people out here having kid men, but never mind, leave it alone, right? What we meant to say was children being disrespectful to their parents. Yet we know, because the scripture lets us know, that parents will provoke their children to wrath, by which said disrespect would come from. Because you're being disrespectful to them, they're just returning in kind what you're doing to them. Because this ministry, right, and we all have a ministry one to the other, Okay, this is not just for your preach up in the pulpit. We have received mercy that so as a result of it, we faint not. And we can hold up each other's hands, family. This is the idea. This is why you'll see me. And, another thing you can find part of the podcast on, we have a Facebook page, just putting up information, whether it be history, whether it be, laughter, comedy, all that kind of stuff. We just the website's page there. Different ideas and stuff you can find. It's called A Different View Looking Forward. That's what you search in Facebook, right? A Different View Looking Forward. Again, we faint not. And there are ways that we can keep ourselves from fainting. Not only internal work and meditation and meditating upon, God's word also, right? Because we're just not going to make it full on Christian at the same, just those things. Because again, where would you find life in God's word? Start studying and meditating on things of finances in this life, family. Things about health for yourself, right? Things about this earth. How mammals operate, how plants operate, right? There's things you can meditate that deal with the words of God. Again, God speaking, let there be life. So anywhere let there be light. And we know with light, life is connected as well, right? Not just darkness, but light as well. The balance of things. Anyway. But have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of God deceitfully. Family, do we know any preachers this year or ourselves? Because it's not just like we just finished saying, it's not just the folks behind that pulpit. Or sitting up on that stage next to everybody, again, with the form of godliness, denying the power. Renounce the hidden things. See, again, renounce openly. Why? Because when we keep saying conspiracy, family, that's a bunch of mess. Do you understand? That's BS, as we also say in the camp. Ain't no conspiracy. Ain't nothing hidden that won't be brought into the light. Isn't that what we are told? It'll be brought into open. So when they plan to enslave people, family, listen, when they're having these good duck walking Nazi meetings in New York before having quote unquote war, which is confusion. That's the German definition for the word war. That's the etymology of it. Dishonesty. Don't you know people operate dishonestly in business? They operate dishonestly in healthcare. Let's just go back, family, and revisit something that Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. told us. I say it a lot on this podcast, and we're going to go forward saying it because this is what it is. Again, the 9 areas of people activity. And a 10th one added on by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Sis, may you rest in peace, right? A leader, a teacher in the camp. Ma'am, may you rest in peace, right? Same thing for Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. And his 9 areas were economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics. Well, you could say government, because again, the phrase to politic means to talk about things city state. Religion or belief, you probably could do like a religion and belief, because again, when you look at the definition of religion, constantly you keep seeing an organization. It's something formed around what you believe, not just belief. Sex. Not no schmex mess that they talking about over on TikTok. We mean sex, which in that is also gender, which is one of the universal laws. War. Sex is twofold. How we do it and our gender. But I digress, right? War. Again, we know war means confusion. So then battle. How continents battling each other, or internally in the continent, or externally from continent to continent. Which is why we know the U.S. is playing a game in Venezuela when you find out they got 300 billion barrels of oil. They burned down Tulsa for the same thing. They've attacked anywhere where there's brown, dark, or tan skin tone folks for the same thing historically, family. Stop playing the game like it's holiness against unholiness, because that ain't the case. It's about that money. Money, money, money. That's how we were told from the OJs, right? I don't know whatever they telling you in government and all this little spin story stuff they got to keep you confused, because we're dealing with war. Now, over here, we know it's about acquiring that which does not belong to you by taking it, making up a story, like they're savages. Again, all you need to do is talk to your native brothers and sisters. They will let you know who the savage is, and it was not them. When you leave a trail when you leave a trail 2 miles long of women and children in death under the supposed thing you do in holiness, and that's what you find out when you read the book, The Great Evil, from Dr. Chris Mantanumpa, Matanumpa, if I'm saying it right, Chris Mantanumpa. Again, this year, by far, your boy has gotten back into reading. It's been slowly through audiobook. It just hasn't only been through actual book. I do need to finish off reading the rest of Dr. Claude Anderson's book, talking about Black history, the Black History Reader. Because again, this is about knowledge, family. I'm done on listening to what Massa has told me, what he has told my brothers and sisters, family and friends that I know. Do you know I'm done? We're done with that mess. That's a lot. You don't want black folks on to come up. No. Don't give me the extra 15 billionaires and a couple of, 20, 25 millionaires and Negroes that's come up now. That's pseudo. You want to talk about truly holding hand in hand and having a life that is integrated, man. Do you know what that would look like? Do you think Massa want that? And then the 10th one is health, family. When you look at healthcare, right, this year we had 2 brown or tan skin tone women. I believe one was in Texas. Another one was somewhere else in the South. Refused medical help during birth. Where do you think else you've seen that before? We've already talked to you about Anarcha Westcott here, an historical figure. Back in the day, horribly operated on after her giving birth. Can the ladies testify one time about what happened, the tearing that happens after you give birth? See, family, maybe we need to tell people this stuff. So that you know. Because you're going to go through pain, but you're going to give life as a result. Are you down with that? Right? Again, being a wrestling fan, while we've talked about John Cena toward the end of this year and the horrible way WWE operated with that mess. In the words of D-Generation X, we got 2 words for you, right? When it comes to this thing, if you want to give birth, right? And it ain't suck it, it's do it, right? When you know the knowledge of a thing, yeah, there's pain coming, but pain with the joy of you bringing life in this world, man, there ain't nothing that could compare to that. It's the same payoff that should happen with the worker. See, one of these area activities that Massa got control of is labor. Never mind. Let's finish up in this book. Yeah, we're definitely going to do 2 parts and then go about our business. Number 1, divine oneness. Okay. All things are connected divinely by the maker, designer, fashioner, creator of life. Okay. If you don't believe that, I mean, it's your business. But again, divine oneness. We are all connected. Well, I know we like playing like the people in India aren't connected to the people in North America or Europe. But I bet you what, when Europe came calling, invading into India, and when you start studying the partition that is talked about in the TV show Ms. Marvel. Y'all stop talking about this woke TV. They teaching people because, damn it, they ain't teaching you none of that in school, are they? Man, they ain't teaching you about the religious war created by Britain's trial of occupation. No, they ain't tell you that. Got our Pakistani brothers and sisters fighting all the different belief groups of family. Do you think that's right? Number 2, the law of vibration. Things have a vibration to them. You can feel it, family. We don't have to be spooky about it. We're talking about when you see the weirdo coming. Right? They just had a thing where some dude was flashing somebody. I mean, this is an all too familiar tale anyway. You could look up flashing. You could look up flashing, instances of flashing in retail stores like a mile long, unfortunately, right? Again, this is the forced kind of, see, we're talking about people walking around nude with little to no clothes on, family. This the opposite, okay? And I know people be like, well, see, KJ, that's why we don't want to see nobody with, put some clothes on. Again, family, forcing little kids and everybody to be seeing your stuff is two totally different things than walking around in honesty with no clothes on. There's a difference. Nobody's forcing nothing on you. If y'all don't want to see the difference, it's your business. Okay? But we're telling you how how people operated in this planet before Europe came calling and how it got turned into sickness. That's all we're saying. And there were kids there. There was youth there with the parents with the very little clothes on. So what is you talking to? Never mind. Number 3, again, you can feel these things, family. They have a vibration to them. No different than vibration in science. It's the same. The prejudger is a real thing. But you keep listening to massa and your prejudger going to point not north. It's going to go the opposite direction. Okay? It's funny. I've used that analogy before. But when you look to the south, what kind of mess was going on in the south, family? Never mind. Number 3, attraction. This is one that people turn to a lot, right? This is one we know a lot. I believe they made movies about it. Again, things attract to you. Negative and positive. Because negative and positive is in every person. When you go into a certain way in your life, family, do not be shocked when you see some buster come around you trying to distract you. That is the natural effect. But what we have been empowered with, right? Not fear. This is just what the Bible tells you now. Right? This is what your Bible said. Not fear. Power or ability. You got the ability to tell that fool, whether male or female, no. Be ready to defend yourself because sometimes these things get violent now. Master don't go away without a fight many more times than not. You understand? And when they go away, trust that even though they go away and you have that period of peace, don't think they won't come back around. This is how it is. David wanted Bathsheba and did what was ever necessary to take her. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we have to be careful. That's the law of attraction. Again, as much as when we standing for money, don't you think you won't have some busters now coming around you, but do not take this. See, finance is also another one of these. See, Keon Henderson wanted to talk this mess a couple of years ago. We did an episode on it. This idea that God don't bless you when you give to the poor. Or like the blessing is less, all this foolishness. See, again, we're talking master talking to you. Give, and it shall be given. It didn't tell you who. Good God help somebody, right? To let go of this mess this year and step into next year under renewed knowledge and a renewed mindset. Given, it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together. That's all you need to know, family. Start giving to each other. Start putting each other on. We don't need no algorithm. We don't need massa. We need each other and those who operate in holiness and righteousness to put on each other. That's how this works. You spread that thing word of mouth all over the place. There is a story that's in the black camp, right, called "The White Man's Ice is Colder," which basically is a rendition letting you know that both ice is cool. We just gonna tell you that the white man's ice is better. Break that in your mind, family. If the ice is right and the skin ain't white, go buy it. That's all. Just the same as you would from it ain't no turncoating. You would buy from them the same way you would buy from another. Which we could get into interracial marriage real quick with that one, but I digress. It's unfortunate our black brothers and sisters push away. I gotta say it, and I'm gonna stand on it. It's unfortunate our black brothers and sisters push away those who are married in other traditions, or not other traditions, married to other people groups. Yet for those who do not do that, do you know what it is time for? It's time for you to stand up and be counted. We don't push away people. We bring them in when they are under the banner of love and honesty, correct? Because again, we're supposed to be operating in a ministry of submission to one another that operates in honesty. Isn't that what we're reading here in 2 Corinthians? Okay, let's continue on here. Number 4, correspondence. One thing is happening, the other thing is happening. People like getting away from good and bad. Good and bad is one of those. It's a corresponding thing. Number 5 is action. We got to do something. It's not going to happen by just praying. I know people got an issue with the word pray, like we're begging and stuff like that. That's fine. You want to look at it that way. Your business. It's your business. We're not talking about where you're just praying, no, family, for good. We're actively, right? Actively. You go support each other actively. It's cool. Massa has put out a thing that we're foolish. Carter G. Woodson talked about this in the book, Miseducation of the Negro. Again, it's time to come away from that mess. Put on your brother and sister. The Asian has no problem doing it. Our Indian, and when we say Indian, we're not talking native people. We're talking over in the land of India. Our Indian, our Pakistani, but these people have no problem putting them on. Even though you see divisions within the people groups, again, they have bought into a thing. This is how they're surviving. It's the same thing with our Latin brothers and sisters. While you see much division with them, get a Dominican and Puerto Rican to start talking. You'll find out real quick. There's certain things online, like they'll argue about what a dish is called. All the same dish, but it's said differently from different people groups, and you're sitting there arguing. Stuff like that. Let that go. Okay? Or recognize that it's said this way over here and that way over there, but you're talking the same similar thing. Just, again, Mass is playing off our division. The same thing with the Negro. It's time. They stopped us from reading, and you're gonna look down on your geeky and nerdy black brothers and sisters. What are we doing? They stopped us from this. You think science fiction just for them? Good God, help somebody, man. Number 6, we're gonna stop because I said we're gonna do it in 2 parts. Because if I do, I don't want to rush fully through. But this is how we're gonna do it. Law of cause and effect, family. If you do not believe, this is unfortunately why people got mad. And I could leave this, right, but we'll just reiterate it. This is why people got mad when the Nottoway plantation burned down this year, family, huh? Who remembers that? There's always this sentiment that we need to be like sentimental to Massa, whooping ass, raping women, killing men, chopping up body parts. I mean, come on, family, regulating where you can have business, because this is what the black codes is. The black codes, excuse me. And the slave codes. Starting to get tongue-tied. That's how you know you're getting to the end. All of this mess. What? I'm supposed to be sympathetic when you kick the bucket? We talking about when we got free, they gave the money back to the slave owner, family, huh? Look how many times in history they was restituted. The slave owner. See, but again, I heard it this way on the podcast, and it's the truth. It's just the knowledge shared to that person down to me, so on and so forth, as it always happens. But yet we give credit to where it's due. You know, growing up in the church house, there's certain things you just don't hear because they won't tell you, right? But then again, when the black preacher is introduced into the slave quarters, historically, they're only teaching to them stuff to make them docile for Massa, so they're good workers, not for themselves, for Massa. I digress. Corruption, captivity, disproportion is what you find with Massa and friends every time. That's the way I'm saying it. Every time. You look throughout history every time, right? Freedom, justice, and equality is what you will find with those who are opposite and their friends. Every time. Every time. Don't you know, black folks, brown folks, tan folks, you're not hypersexual. That is a caricature Massa put on you. We have always been people who are sensual people. I could go as far as talking about over in Europe just the same. I could do the same thing. Not going to. We'll leave it for another time. This is how we relate, family. Again, this is something that we should be doing decently and in order. There's a difference. And that doesn't mean all of us are quote unquote hypersexual. Some of us don't get down with that mess at all. Right? Again, this goes for any one of these things. No, we are some smart people that know the law of the land. Don't you sit there and like designate that as something else. Know the laws of this land. When I said this land, I'm talking about the one that was superseded over by Massa. On top of knowing Massa's laws. It's come now to that point, family. You're going to have to know. That's where we're going to stop, family, right? Like we said, this is part 1. We'll do part 2 here in a little bit. Again, look for the content on Spotify. It's going to be there. You know, we may do some things here on TikTok. But you look for the content here. Again, Year the Christian, that's going to be coming up. Of course, the year in review that we've done here for the last couple of years, people have liked it, so we're going to do that. Again, where we just honor those who have passed, okay? Where we speak on some things here. We got to have conversations, you know, even in our own families. You know, granddaddy and them passed, and there was something wrong with him, family. You learn from the right. You learn from their rights and their wrongs, and it's okay to talk about, right? So that's what I got for you today, family. Thank y'all for walking this road with me. It has been an awesome time talking to y'all, family. We will talk to y'all again. And until then, until next time, right? And as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.